Masterclass show, a place where visionary leaders build a life and business legacy on purpose through mindset, branding, marketing, sales, systems, and team so they can make an amazing impact and income and positively affect their communities worldwide. Ensure that you are sharing this show, you're subscribing, and you also are leaving us a review so we can create more amazing content around those areas to help you level up to the next level and also bring amazing guest experts that can share their knowledge and expertise with you so that you can create amazing legacy. All right, Legacy Builders, welcome back to another show. I'm so excited to be back with you. Another amazing guest and conversation. Today, we're going to talk all about sales. Sales is the lifeblood of our business growth, scaling, and anything, right? So it's important to really understand sales at all different perspectives. So I'm so honored to have my guest today, Yuriy Margolin from Moving Sales Professionals. Talk about this topic, but more importantly, introduce him to you and find out a little bit more regarding all the amazing work that he's doing out there in the world. Yuriy, thank you so much for joining me and looking forward to having you share maybe a few of your background, most impactful points, I guess, in your journey that led you to the work that you're doing today.
Sure. Thank you very much for having me. And it is Margolin. But yes, sales is basically something that I've been involved with for at this point over 20 years of my life. So from different type of sales. Originally, I started doing fundraising for nonprofits back when I was 17, 18 years old. Now, all these years later, I'm still doing that. Not quite involved in fundraising, but different types of sales. Sure.
Love that. And what is Moving Sales Professionals?
Moving sales professionals, we are a call center. We do sales for moving industry. We work with moving companies throughout the United States. We also work with companies in Canada and United Kingdom. Our goal is to basically be a third party option for moving industry or removal industry if you're in UK, where they can use our expertise and our knowledge to book moving company jobs for these companies directly. We're not a broker, so we're doing specific work specifically for these companies.
I love that. That is so unique. How did you actually get into this whole industry of moving sales?
Well, it was actually kind of like I said, I used to do fundraising for nonprofits, and I ended up moving to Los Angeles to go to school many years ago, to talking 2003. And I ended up working for a moving company for the first time, and I did extremely well. And um, you know, here and there, like at this point, I've been working with the moving industry for over 20 years. And in 2018, I was actually doing at that point I was doing sales for three different moving companies myself. And the owner of one of the moving companies, he was joking around with me, and he said, "Hey, you could be doing sales for 10 different moving companies. You'd make a fortune." And we laughed about it. But after he hung up, I started thinking, and I was thinking, okay, well, I know I can't do sales for 10 moving companies at the same time. But if I hired a couple of people, if I taught them what I know, then maybe I can make something happen. And here we are, 2024. And we've been doing this for since 2018, so 6 years at this point, going into 6 years, and it's definitely a niche, and we definitely filled it. We definitely do it better than anybody that was thinking of doing things in that niche in that way. We do definitely than anybody else.
Yeah, I love that. There you go. That's the purpose behind the work you do. It's definitely a niche because when I also connected with you, I wasn't even familiar with the whole industry, but that's very, very cool. And it's so funny how a lot of the experience leads us to really the work and we start to see gaps. The more we experience something, the more we work in whatever area of business or even work that we do. with more experience, we start to see those gaps, and then we find that, okay, I have a better way to solve this problem, and then you start getting into things that way as well. So, based on your experience, Yuri, with your industry and also maybe other industries that you've seen from your overall years of experience, what are some of those, I guess, pain points around sales that you have seen companies struggle with, or individuals, and then companies, because obviously individuals make up companies at the end of the day?
I think that one of the biggest problems is that some people that want to do sales don't really have an understanding of sales. I think that's part of the big problem. That they make assumptions, and it's not just about whether you're making a sale. I make this point all the time with new people that we bring on board. I don't really care if the new person that I bring on, if they get a sale their first week or sometimes two or not. What's important to me is whether or not they're having meaningful conversations. So, meaningful conversation for our industry would be discussing the person's move. It would be getting information about their move. It would be providing them support. It would be building a relationship. In general, I feel that sales is about building relationships. So whenever we build those relationships, it allows us to achieve the ultimate goal, which is selling. Selling.
Yuri, I think we have a problem with your mic. Your voice is going in and out.
Oh, really? Hmm,
Yeah,
shouldn't be
I
an
think
issue.
now it's better.
Okay. Yeah.
I think you were saying to create meaningful conversations. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yes, I think that that's the important part of it. So to me, a lot of people make an assumption that a good salesperson is going to be able to sell immediately, but sometimes it's not like that. Sometimes it's building those relationships. You could have a week where you've booked or signed or sold absolutely nothing, but it's the conversation that you're having where you're going to have days down the road where you're going to have 10 sales, and things like that. So it takes a build up. It takes putting time into it. It takes building those relationships that are so extremely important.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. I think it's always about trust, that unless we have to establish trust, that we haven't really invested in the bank of reciprocity, then sales, becomes one of those things that we see it as a number and with a hidden agenda. And you get that result when you're talking to people as well back. So I think putting in the time beforehand to add value, to build trust. And a very a question that's always asked by, me many years ago, and also a lot of people that are in the business world, is around the trust factor, or how do I speed up the process? How do I build trust faster? What are some of your thoughts and perceptions around being able to do that?
I think that with trust, a lot of it goes into listening. People will feel comfortable if they feel like they're being heard. So I think that that's an extremely important part of it is that feeling that you are being heard. Because if you're not going to have that, it's going to make a very big difference.
Being heard, yeah, absolutely, it's the cornerstone of building a good relationship. And we all want to feel heard and seen, right? So if someone on the other side is taking the time to hear us, our needs, and then suggesting something based on that, it definitely goes a long way to build trust. But I also feel like the other faster way to build trust is keep adding immense value with whatever is it that you are doing, and you'll be able to build on that pillar. Yuri, with sales is always around this. What's your perception around this numbers game, meaning value, meaning we have to talk to a lot of people, we have to build trust, we have to add value, we have to add value to lots of people, so that we are closing sales consistently, so we don't have a gap in sales. What's your perspective around this specific
Well, it's
concern?
very much about building a pipeline. So we in this industry, I mean, in moving, just like anything else, it's all about it's you're constantly talking to people that are not going to necessarily close and sell or agree to whatever it is that you're selling today, right? So you got to build that pipeline where you're talking to people that are going to say yes to you today, tomorrow, day after that, a month after, a year sometimes after that. It takes time. Not everybody is going to be the same. Their life situation changes, which affects your timeline and their timeline when they're willing to say yes to you. So
Mm,
I think it's a fine line that you got to tread between. Uh, you don't want to be overzealous, but at the same time, you want to be more assertive than aggressive, if there is such a thing. So I think that that's what you need to focus on, is that you need to build a relationship. And I think it differs from person to person, because some people will say, thank you so much for staying on me, right? While other people prefer to be given more space. So as individuals, that's where listening plays a big part. It lets us know how far we can push the person, so to speak, how far can we go without crossing the line?
yeah, and you have a pulse on the needs, right? I think that's the most important piece, because sales at the end of the day is supposed to be about serving. So just it's always around, the intention that you put behind the actual process, to being able to providing the result. If you believe in the result or the service or the product that you have, that's always like, I would say step A, or where the beginning point of anything that we do, right? Because just like anything, if you don't believe in that, then the rest of the process will be out of alignment with you, and that will show up in your energy and the way that you even maybe get to build trust and intentively listen, as we've been kind of sharing so far. Yuri, another concern with sales, and I know that a lot of people listening and maybe even beginning startup phases of businesses have, is this, as you said, we have to build a pipeline of conversations, of relationships, which is great. But how do we fill this gap of inconsistent sales? Um, because that's a big pain point for a lot of businesses. They, just like you said, it seems like it's somehow an unpredictable process, even though it is a predictable process. But then as we wait for someone to be ready a year down the line, what happens now? How do we create an intentional process so that we have some consistency with sales, and we're always working towards that?
I think it has a lot to do with that particular part, has a lot to do with the creativity of the company in question, because it's ultimately we all need leads, one way or another. And we need to build, um, not just trust, but it's like, as businesses, we want to have multiple streams of revenue. So we want to make sure we get creative. We find different ways to attract our potential customers or our clients. And I think that it is about creativity. It is about having an open mind, very much so, because you need to come up with things that will allow you to attract a wider audience that are going to fill that gap. Of course, we're building value. It is all about value. It's not about, despite what anybody may say, it's not about the price. It is about the value.
Mm. Absolutely. Yeah, I love that. Being creative and also always working to go find the people that we want to help, right? It's not like a exercise we do once and then we're like, okay, I'm done with that part of the business. Now we can move on to other things. It's an ongoing process or system, however you want to call it. But I love to call people that we serve, our people in our journeys, like a customer journey, because sometimes leads to me seems a little too cold or too salesy, right? For someone to be a lead and have that like on my forehead, I'm a lead for Yuri, or
Right.
Yuri's a lead for me, right? So I think it's just unraveling some of these traditional words around sales and just thinking of people as human beings, and then being very intentional around how do we reach the people that we want to serve, and having a very clear intentional customer journey. There is a journey to when someone first finds out about you, all the way to us adding value, building trust, so that we're able to offer the value based on our offers. So understanding how to do that intentionally, I think helps a lot of entrepreneurs and CEOs to feel at ease with the process, and also understand the big vision behind the why they're doing that, so that it removes a lot of the all the bad lingo, or I guess attachment that we might have associated with sales in the past in the traditional form. So I think it's absolutely all the pieces that you mentioned are absolutely important in a really healthy sales process. Yuri, for your industry and the businesses that you help, how do you specifically help them? I know you mentioned that at the beginning, but what is your process to be able to help the businesses that you help, for people listening, or someone hears about it and they maybe could share it with other people so they have a little more clarity around your own process in helping?
Well, first of all, the way that was always number one point. First of all, we want to help the clients of the moving companies, and we want to help the moving companies. So, like, it obviously we are very much interested in helping a company grow, because ultimately, I'm not going to say that it's an altruistic motive. It's not. Obviously, we need to make a living too. But if we are helping a company grow, we're going to get more of their business, right? But we want the company to grow. So for all of our clients that are coming in, I am just as much interested in their growth as they are interested in their growth. So I'm always available for those owners to provide advice, to provide questions, to help them maybe solve a situation that's unique to them that they haven't run into. Being in the industry for 20 years has gives you unique perspective at a variety of things that happen in an industry as a whole, or in any specific move. If you were going to talk about specific situation, for example, right? But it's well, we are once again very much focused on our companies just as much as we are focused on their clients. So I think mutual growth is important.
I love that you have that partnership or win-win for everyone, and you are connected to each other's growth, because that
Yeah.
absolutely commits everybody so that everybody rises and everybody grows and they're all meeting their goals and you're creating the results that you set out to get for your clients and their company, sounds like, as well. So, Yuri, thank you so much for all the amazing wisdom you share with us thus far around sales, this very important topic. And Before I actually leave you, at the end of the show, I do a another sort of short segment for my guests, and I will ask you to fill in the blanks, whatever comes up for you. So I'll ask you
Okay.
three questions. So, what would you say to I overcome challenges by
By attacking them head on.
beautiful? The biggest impact I want to create is
Growth for people that surround us in terms of businesses, growth for people that work for me, growth for my family.
beautiful. And last one is best advice in leadership I've received is
Be humble. Never forget where you started.
absolutely. I love that. Well, thank you so much, Yuri, for everything that you have shared. Where is it the audience can further continue this conversation with you?
They can always go to our podcast, which you can find Let's Talk Moving. You can find that on YouTube. You can find that on Spotify. We're on TikTok. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. So you can look up Moving Sales Professionals, or you can look up Let's Talk Moving. And of course, we'll be available to talk if you're a moving company that needs help with sales, or you're a business person that's looking for for maybe some growth advice or potential. We can certainly talk about coaching and things like that.
All right, beautiful. Definitely also check out Yuri's podcast. I was honored to be a guest on his show as well. A lot of great
Great to
value
have you.
there as well. So, and the website, everything I'm sure is there. And you have probably
It is.
created a lot of resources for people that are feeling inclined and can really resonate with our conversation today. So, thank you again for being part of our show. And thank you always for listening, sharing this podcast, and also subscribing, which is what is being prioritized at the time. So, subscribe so you don't miss any episodes. And I highly appreciate you always being here to support us. Thank you so much. And I will see you next time with another show and another beautiful guest. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Want to further invite you to explore the legacy products that I have created in order to help you build a legacy company and align your purpose with profit so that you can do more good in the world. I would invite you to check out my latest book, Visionary Purpose Driven Leadership, where you will find principles, tried and true principles on how to become a visionary, purpose driven leader in your company and in your personal life so that you can align your purpose with profit, do more good in the world, but of course, create amazing impact and leave a lasting legacy for your company, your family, and for all your loved ones. The second book that I have created is called Purpose Driven Entrepreneurship. And in this book, I have included the fundamental pillars to growing a legacy company, which is your branding, marketing, sales, systems, and teams. When you read the book, you'll connect all the dots between all those fundamental pillars while getting a lot of clarity around where is it that you are in your business growth journey, and what are those gaps that you might be experiencing in scaling your company. So that is the second book that I suggest for you to add to your reading list. My first book is actually Connecting the Dots Backwards, and this is to really help you align your personal and professional purpose so that you can, again, do more good in the world and clarifying your life vision so that you can get that clarity that you need around your values, your vision, and your mission so that you can start building something that means something to you, but also, more importantly, is contributing to society as a whole. So that's my first book. And then for those of you that are high achievers, high performance leaders, and are always looking to optimize your time and increase your efficiency and your productivity, you must grab the Focus on Purpose Planner, which I use daily within the framework that I have created over my 20-year experience in managing a very high level business, but also, more importantly, in really instilling the discipline that you need so that you can execute on the most important priorities in your life and business with no overwhelm and with very high intentionality. And then lastly, I would like to introduce you to our magazine, the Purpose Driven Entrepreneur magazine, where we bring amazing purpose driven entrepreneurs and CEOs, and they get to share their legacy, their life's work with you, while of course adding tons of value to you with lots of great information and methodologies that will help you, again, align your purpose with profit, and also, most importantly, walk away with implementable strategies so that you can always evolve, learn, grow, expand. And the more you expand, the more, of course, you get to do beautiful magic out there in the world. To be able to find all my books, you check out the website that I've hosted, or I have included, I guess, all these legacy products inside, which is right underneath the screen, elonalaparicoaching.com/elonasbooks.html. Add that last part, because otherwise it'll give you an error message. And I'm looking forward to hearing from you. Leave me a review and let me know the impact that these books have created for you personally and professionally. Thank you so much, and I'll see you with another episode.